do Mismatched. If you guys have seen Mismatched season 1, you know it's the story, or rather the adaptation of the original story when Dimple met Rishi. And here in this story, I guess, or in the show, we have Prajakta Kohli, a famous YouTuber who plays Dimple, and then we have everybody's favorite Rohit Saraf who plays Rishi. And they meet during season 1. They're basically like set up by their parents, and they meet at this like coding camp, or this app camp, I guess. And they're like trying to figure out life together. He wants her, and she's like, no, I'm just kind of here to figure out my future. I really want education, which isn't something that my parents prioritize. They want me to get married, but I want to pave this path for myself. And we along the way, we encounter some like incredible characters. Like we see Selena, her roommate. We meet Namrata, Rishi's like longtime best friend. And in that mix, we leave off season 1 on this odd cliffhanger where Dimple is so upset that Rishi leaves her or yells at her during the League of Legends competition that she makes out with Naughty America, who is of course Harsh, played by the incredible Vihan Samat. And then we pick right back up in season 2. So those two, while they have that like instant spark, it seems like Dimple wasn't really sure what she was doing in that moment. So in season 2, it ends up becoming this like really nice platonic support system for Dimple, and Harsh is just always there. I'm not really sure with exactly what intention, because he's like, hey, if you want to explore this between us, like we can explore it. If not, that's okay. And he doesn't really push her too much in the relationship end, but those two end up actually getting together, much to like Rishi's dismay, because Rishi still has feelings for her. And by the time Rishi figures out whatever happens between him and Namrata, where they're no longer friends, he ends up having to confess to Namrata's parents that, hey, that rumor about her being a lesbian, it's not true because the two of us are in love. And they're like, oh, you're in love? We're so happy for you guys. Like, go back to college. Why do you guys just not spend time together studying anymore? And then they end up having to go back to college. They're facing each other for the first time, Dimple and Rishi, and there's so many unresolved feelings between them. And then there's tons of unresolved feelings between Namrata and Selena. And while all that bullying takes place on campus, because now apparently everyone seems to know Namrata's secret, there's a guest teacher that comes into class, and Namrata starts falling for the teacher starts falling for Namrata. We also see some couples like Zenith and the professor keep going. And then the best couple breakup throughout this entire thing was that toxic social media couple, the one with Sim and the Krish. Yeah, he ends up cheating on her because, you know, he's hooking up with a Tinder flame, and she finds out, and it's just a whole mess. But aside from the coupling thing that has been going on in season 2, every character ends up having some kind of like development. Like Dimple learns to not be so obnoxious, especially because she starts having these panic attacks where she's realizing like, hey, maybe I'm not actually as good as I think I am sometimes. And it's not just like the world's against me simply because it wants to be against me. Like there are factors within me that make the world be against me. And then we see like portions of Rishi finally realize he wanted to be an animator. Simran finally like comes to terms with her body dysmorphia and realizes that she's not in a good relationship with Krish. Krish comes to terms with the fact that like Sim has found out about his hair issues, and that, you know, there's like something deeper. My favorite part is when Anmol finally goes to therapy. Anmol is now in therapy for his leg issues. And then Selena apparently thinks she's on the spectrum, like LGBTQ plus spectrum, because she sees Namrata with this professor, and she's like, maybe I do actually like Namrata. And every single person reaches some kind of climax, even Rishi's dad. Like Rishi's dad faces a lot of character development. So while I will say, I think there are a lot of characters that shouldn't even be in relationships because they're a mess as a person. Like, but I think the relationship aspect helps them learn a little bit more about themselves. So we see an incredible amount of character development from all of these people, and it's really nice to see them grow. So season 2 is just like a amped up version of season 1. Now, did I like the ending? Not necessarily. Do I think Dimple should always get the boy? Not necessarily. I think she's still absolutely obnoxious. But it was still a fun watch for everybody who enjoyed season 1. Season 2 follows like very much the same path, and it's the most adorable.
What I really didn't get about the entire show was, where do they get these people with American accents?
Oh my god, right? Okay.
Right. First of Vihan Samad has this American accent,
but he's from NYU, right? He literally got
but he's born and brought up in India. So he has this. I checked it out because I thought there were some words that were funny because he was rolling it too much. All right. So that's one. Then this professor, the lady professor. I was like, what's her voice? Why is she talking like that? What has happened in her life that's making her talk like that in the first place?
And wait, there's also like basically soft porn at one point because Zenith and the professor, like Professor Sid, there's a moment in there where they're like they put her in a cat suit and afterwards she's like role playing as like a schoolgirl. Like it's literally soft porn, guys.
Yeah,
like,
like, because Vihan Samat's character,
it.
what's his name? Vihan Samat's character.
Harsh.
Harsh is trying to help that girl understand the difference between porn and love.
Yeah.
So he tells her, look at those two. You can see that the two of them are in love and they're talking with each other. But if this were porn, it would be this scene.
It's so weird to watch it because you have to think about the fact that these actors sat there and actually like played this whole scene out for the camera multiple times. They did multiple takes of this scene just for you guys to watch it like once for 10 seconds. Like, that's so odd to think about. But in all honesty, it was cute, but I will say there were some portions that got to me. Like Rishi's younger brother, Ashish, he becomes a lot more intolerable this season, and his dad, like we find out the reason why Rishi's family is so obnoxious is because, or sorry, not obnoxious, is so is like so divided, is because apparently dad cheated on his mother at a golf course. It does end up kind of wild. Like the story does end up kind of wild. Cinematography is great. The locations, the sets, there's like a wedding, like his mother gets remarried, and there's like all of the locations are beautiful. The outfits are beautiful. But whoever is doing Rohit Saraf's makeup, like please don't ever do it again because you're really messing it up. Like he's a beautiful man.
He would have been better without that makeup. I thought the same thing.